We are live for Financial Fitness Friday. What's going on, everybody? Dave, how you doing?
Jonathan, my man, I am good. How are you, buddy? Good to see you.
I'm good. I'm good. So, I think we always talk about things on a micro level. I think let's dive in Financial Fitness Friday. Some of the things that everyone needs to pay attention to on a macro level. All right. So, one of the first things, one of the most pressing things, and we have talked about it on the show before, is there is actually economic warfare going on, right? Before you get into crazy hot wars, you typically have cold wars, economic wars, uh, policy wars. There's a lot of different things that lead up to the hot war. And the reason this is a topic that we want to talk about and bring up is because it is impacting every single one of us and we just don't know it. Here's what's going on. China is the number one buyer of treasuries in the world, hands down. And so, because they have all that government debt, they actually have a fair amount of influence. Besides with our administration, they have a fair amount of influence in our, how our economy works. Let me give you an example. Right now, they are selling all the treasuries or a ton of treasuries. And when you sell treasuries, drives the price down. When the price goes down on treasuries, the rate goes up. So that impacts the overnight rate. Okay, that impacts the rate that banks borrow from. Okay, and besides us printing money, China, Russia, the BRICS countries not trading or trying to not settle transactions in the dollar is driving demand for dollars worldwide down, which is all leading to some of the challenges that we're having. Dave, does that make sense? You think too high level?
Yeah, it's a little high level. I think the most important thing, right? Like, what is the Treasury, right? United States Treasury Securities. It's a debt instrument issued by the U.S. Department of Treasury, right, to fund government spending. So I guess, and maybe I'm wrong on this. I know this is your wheelhouse, brother, but it's basically a way kind of that countries do business back and forth and borrow against each other. Correct? Is that like kind of the down version?
Basically, here's what's happening. Okay.
Like almost like their own credit system between.
Yes, all the BRICS countries are saying, hey, we're not going to settle. The dollar was the world reserve currency, right? So for countries to trade with each other, they settle it usually in dollars. All right. China, Russia, India, all the BRICS countries, China, Russia predominantly are not transacting in the dollar anymore. So demand for dollars goes down. And then when China sells treasuries, that also kicks rates up. All right. And when our government prints money, our dollar is worth less and less and less. Okay. They are trying to collapse the dollar. How else can we tell this? Has anyone looked at the price of gold? Has anyone looked at the price of silver? What about the price of any of these cryptocurrencies? Okay. The cryptocurrencies are starting to go up. Why? Because the dollar is getting weaker. It's getting less valuable. And then if you look at gold and silver, gold is at all-time highs and continuing to climb. Silver, gold. You didn't see? You don't pay attention to this stuff, Dave.
$2,300. I don't even remember it.
Bro, silver a year ago was in the teens. It's almost $30.
$28.50.
Okay, just so you guys understand, precious metals are not supposed to move that way. Okay, precious metals do not go and have those extremes. Okay, and so what this is telling me is, and it should be telling all of you this, is there is some event that people think are going to happen that is going to be economically devastating. Okay, why do you go and rush to gold and silver and crypto? Because it's a store of value. Okay. About 2 years ago, 18 months ago, do you remember me saying the only way out of what they're trying to do right now is a war?
Mm-hmm.
You remember me telling you how bad it was going to be? Well, now we've been seeing the signs, but now they're so fucking obvious. They're in everybody's faces. Okay. and nobody is reporting about any of this stuff. All right. So how do you protect yourself? How do you manage? Cool. If you're an individual, you need to buy things that are going to hold value. And Dave, I'm sorry, I want you to ask questions on this. This is really my wheelhouse. So
Yeah.
not me to ask questions because other people are probably thinking it.
Yeah, dude. I'm like looking at trends. I mean, gold.
Well, now you're seeing what I'm actually saying,
Yeah.
but it's obvious, okay? Because no one looks. So here's how you prevent getting completely fucked in this thing. You have to buy things that are going to hold value. Gold, silver, copper. I wouldn't fuck with copper. Gold, silver. If you are going to do crypto, stick to the majors. Don't be like these meme coin guys, okay? Don't gamble.
Shit coins.
And again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just someone who runs a pretty good business, helps a lot of people, has a degree in economics, and I think I know what I'm talking about. All right? I could be wrong. However, I would tell you, Dave's looking exactly what I'm saying. He's like, he ain't wrong.
No.
All right? So these are the only reasons this would happen. Now, if you want to make major moves, okay, hard assets, real estate, things of that nature, and will it completely protect you? No. But if something happens where the dollar is worthless or that we have to collapse, the currency collapses and they want to replace it with something else that is hopefully asset backed again, you are going to need hard assets to sell to get that new currency. Okay. And if something gets completely screwed up, the only way you're going to be able to transact with people is barter. And I know that sounds crazy. All right. If I'm wrong, let's think about this. If I'm wrong and you go buy gold and silver, you're jumping on something that's just going up, 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 and up. Okay. If I'm right, and I hope I'm not, at least you guys have a way to buy food, buy and take care of your necessities. All right. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, what's a good idea? Inventory materials, right? If you are very, very material heavy business and you know the prices have been going up, you have some extra cash, you can put that cash into the materials that you can turn into higher profits later down the line. All right. These are all very, very important things that if you guys do and pay attention to, you will come out of this all right. That and obviously living by a budget, not overspending. Okay. Finding ways and skills to develop so you can earn more money. Okay. Maybe a couple other opportunities that you can jump into by learning these new skills. All right, Dave, what are your thoughts on this?
You know, it goes back to you and I talk about it every time we're on here, like, you know, about getting your house in order and especially getting things you don't need, right? Like when you don't need it. I had an event on Wednesday where I actually spoke about this. You know, we were talking about personal and business credit, about a group of 100 people at one of the universities here. And I left them on the last note. And guys, you know, whatever, this ain't a buy my shit like ordeal. This is a reality. Number one, get your credit in order. Number two, get something, even if you don't need it, right? If you need that line of credit, go get it. Seriously, because you don't know if you're going to need it. And I think what's very interesting, and let's backtrack a little bit here. I guess also like with when you see these things shoot up and down, has a lot to do with because the dollar, our currency in general, it's not on the gold standard anymore, correct? Fair assumption. Mm-hmm. Right?
No, it's not an assumption.
Well, fact, right? So look at this, guys. Like here's an interesting chart when you're talking about shit hitting the fan. I'm looking at gold prices, right? Over the last looks like about 80 years. And think of the times here. Like I'm looking to see, hey, when has this like peaked or hit 2000? Well, look at these years right here. July 2020, right? 2385. What was going on in July of 2020, right? You got September of 2011, right? Not too long after the real estate crash.
No, that's not what happened.
In 2011?
September 2011?
Yes. What else was in 2000? What else was then?
No, I'm sorry. You're right.
Okay.
You're right. I thought you said 2001.
No. So in 2001.
Yeah, there would have been a gold spike in September.
No, it's actually really low. Well, yeah, compared to what it was, there was a big spike.
Yes.
The next, right? Because this is interesting. We talk about it all the time in credit. 1980 was $2,000, right? Remember, interest rates in 1980 for real estate were like 16%, right? How would you have a mortgage that was 16% in 1980? Okay. And I think around that time, 78, 79, they were doing gas rationing as well. And what we got here? 74, end of the Vietnam War in that era. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is lower, probably because of inflationary reasons. But guys, look over the last, 50 years, those spikes, those were big time events that have happened in the world. So it also interesting. Yeah, it's an election year and with a war crisis. So now the question is like, what's coming? What's on the horizon? Right? It's kind of like that dark horse question, because you don't know. You got an idea of what it's going to be, but you don't know 100%.
Yeah. So guys, get your houses in order. All right. Share this with someone that needs to hear it. Appreciate you guys. We'll catch you on Mindset Monday.
Be great, y'all.